what a game we've got coming up this week. Friday night against Carlton in Spud's game at the G. It doesn't get much bigger than this. Welcome back to the Predicted 23. Coming up against Carlton. My name is Ari. Before we get into it, we want to hear from you. Do you agree with the takes? Disagree? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing from you. Let's go over last week really quickly. I said Travalia, Phillipou, Boxall would come in. Boxall, after picking him 4 times, he's finally come into the side and he played great. So that was awesome to see. Phillipou was in, but eventually the late out. Travalia was the late in, and O'Connell, I didn't pick him, but I said don't be surprised. So I was happy to see him back. Let's see if he's still in this week. And then coming out, Mason Wood was the obvious. Garcia held his spot, and I mean, thank God, rising star nod, great game. I'm glad the club showed some faith in him. I said Ryan Burns would come out, he didn't. Instead, Jones got managed, and Keeler was dropped, which I think was, it was a good week at selection for us. Those were the good changes. Let's go over this week. Straight into it. Mattaes Phillipou, Mason Wood in. I don't think there's anything to be said about this. There's no disagreeing. These are the obvious 2. There's no one else really, on the precipice. Maybe a couple we'll talk about, but these are the main 2. They're both tests and both expected to get up, which is great. So Phillipou, obviously he suffered that corky, which resulted in him being a late out. But yeah, he just comes straight in, inject him into that midfield. That would be awesome to see. Hopefully he gets up. I'm pretty certain he will. Mason Wood coming off the concussion, inject that senior leadership, just a very underrated player for us. And add that height back to the forward line, and Hammer can go back to the back line. So yeah, it'll be great to have him back. The outs. These are a bit more contentious. There's a couple of different directions we could go in. This is the one I'm predicting. If I was predicting what I wanted, this would probably look a little different. I'll get into that in a sec, but this is my best guess at what will happen. Out, Liam O'Connell, Toby, Travalia. Let's go over it. So Travalia, very stiff. Didn't even get the chance to play on Friday night. I think he's just going to fall out of favour just to bring in a Phillipou or a Wood. He's just on the fringes of our best 23 right now. Is he in it? I don't know. But, this is an absolute must-win, and Ross is going to pick the side that he thinks is best going to give us the chance to win. And I think Travalia just isn't in it at that point. But, very unlucky. And in all honesty, I want him to be playing. So, you could go either way on this one. I wouldn't be upset, but I'm predicting that he's probably just going to come out of the side. Also out Liam O'Connell. We're 3-1 with him in the side. I like him in. He looks good. He's a nice, serviceable role player that I think Ross is quite fond of. But again, I think he's just going to be stiff. People might think, but this is not like for like at all. Well, if you look at selection all year, the ins and outs haven't been like for like. It's mostly, I think it's just been our best 23 and then a bit of team balance, here and there. But I do think that isn't going to be a concern for Ross and co this week. So that's the team. Let's go over who might have been in contention for the side. VFL had a bye this week, so that doesn't help. I think a few of the AFL boys played, if I'm not mistaken, but not a lot to go over this week. So Liam Henry, I think, is the only one that is a genuine chance outside of Phillipou and Wood. Obviously, as I said, didn't play VFL, but I think, we know Liam Henry is a really good player. He's out of form right now, coming off of an injury. With this being the must-win game that it is, I wouldn't be totally surprised if he came in. But then again, I don't think we're going to make 3 changes after a huge win like that. So he's going to be unlucky again. Not even unlucky, he got dropped, probably rightfully so. So he'll go back, probably play VFL this week, and eventually earn his spot in the side back, which will be good to see. So I think he's the only one that is a genuine chance to come in outside of those 2, but we will see. The other one's Hunter Clark. Again, probably just not quite ready. Going to play some VFL. Zach Jones. We've already got so many midfielders in the mix with Boxall, Phillipou, Windy, Steele, McRae. I just don't think there's room for him, unfortunately, even though every time he plays, he shows great effort and we love having him out there. But I think we're going to lean toward the younger boys this time round. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, probably just out of favour. Jonesy, Angus Hasty, Cheryl Maker, they're always putting their hands up, but I just don't think this is the week for them. And Dan Butler, he's not going to play this week. He's still 1 week away. That's just going to be an interesting one for next week. So I'll flag that. Obviously, Collard is playing okay, not fantastic. So we'll see if he's able to hold that spot. But I'm just putting that on notice for next week. So Dan Butler, 1 week away, holding their spots. This is an interesting one because no one was terrible. I mean, no, yeah, definitely no one was terrible. There's a few players that, weren't quite living up to the heights of others, but that's AFL footy for you. So this is where it's going to be interesting, because some of these names I'm about to say, I could easily see them being the ones coming out instead of O'Connell and Travalia. So Boxall, he's got to keep his spot. Please do not drop this kid after one game. He showed so much. I can sort of see Ross taking him out and to put Phillipou in, but I certainly hope not. I don't think it'll happen, but it's definitely on watch. But no, Boxall has got to keep his spot. I only picked him 4 or 5 times to finally get him in round 8. But yeah, Boxall has got to keep his spot. Also, this isn't even a worry, but good thing we didn't drop Garcia because, as I said, rising star. What an eventful start to his career. He's played like 17 odd games. He had the whole sub saga and then this huge off season. Came into the side, got relegated to the sub again, then, had the whole story or non-story, whatever it was, with him getting a spray, and then the next week gets the rising star. I mean, yeah, good on him. Let's hope that he can just find some consistency and keep out of the headlines, even though it's not entirely his fault, but keep out of the headlines for, a while and just play some good footy like he did on Friday night. Windy, I don't think is a worry. He responded really strongly on Friday night, so I expect him to keep his spot. This is an interesting one, Ryan Burns, because if I was picking what I wanted, I've had Ryan Burns out the last few weeks. He had 16 touches on the weekend at 43% efficiency. He's just not getting the job done for me. If I was picking it, I would keep Travalia in and take Burnsy out, but I just think that's just not Ross's go. He likes Burnsy in the side. Trav's probably just out of favour, so I think that one's just going to be a bit unlucky for Trav, but Burnsy, yeah, I think he's just hanging on to his spot at this point. Hammer will definitely stay in, probably move back into the back line with Mason Wood returning, so that'll be good. Darcy Wilson's another. I'd be shocked if he got dropped, but it wouldn't be... I'd be shocked, but at the same time, it would make sense. He's been out of form. Still wasn't great on Friday night, but I do expect him to keep his spot. I mentioned his name before, Lance Collard. He's been quiet on the stat sheet, but I think he still gets a couple more chances, and he's just bringing good energy to that forward line. He's working hard. He's doing all the right things, not necessarily getting a ton of the ball, but being a small forward isn't. It's not the easiest role on the ground. So I think we just persist with him. If he has another off game, maybe the door opens for Dan Butler next week. We'll see. But yeah, I think he should be right. But his name may be in a little bit of strife this week. We will see. So let's go over the team before we wrap up. From the full back line, Liam Stocker, Dougal Howard, Jimmy Webster. Half back, Nasai Wangani Malera, Callum Wilkie and Jack Sinclair. On the wings, Darcy Wilson and Bradley Hill. Half forward line, Max Hall, Mason Wood and Mitch Owens. Full forward, Lance Collard, Cooper Sharman, Jack Higgins. In the midfield, Jack Steele, Jack McRae, and Mattaes Phillipou on his big return, with Rowan Marshall in the ruck. On the bench, Caminiti, Garcia, Boxall, Windhager. Burns I've picked as the sub. I don't know. It could also be Boxall. I'd hope not. Potentially Collard. But yeah, I think Burnsy would probably be the favourite for that. I'm not entirely sure. And then the emergencies, Harry Boyd, Travalia, and Liam Henry. So it'll be an interesting week at selection, but more importantly, it's going to be an awesome game Friday night. Get down, Spuds game. Support the boys at the G. We only get to play home games there once a year at this stage. So yeah, it's going to be so much fun. Super excited for it. Until next week, go the Saints.